And I think
Mhm.
often companies will focus so much on assessing the candidate without offering up much to allow the candidate to assess them. And that probably is where downstream most things actually fail, where it doesn't work out. It's because the company wasn't a good fit for the candidate, and
Right.
we didn't do a good enough job as a company in giving the candidate the right information to make that decision themselves. And so I find that there's more of the misalignment that actually happens with that versus the other way around, because there's so much emphasis on just assessing the candidate with those cultural behavioral questions. And so
Mhm.
it's like the hiring team gets a really good feel for that, but did the candidate really get a good feel for if your environment, if the way you guys manage, if the way you guys collaborate is really a good dynamic for them? And so I think that's something that's super important to convey during the hiring process. How are you guys messaging that to candidates early and often?
Yeah, so I think it's just in all the questions that we ask too, all the conversations, always making sure that you're paying attention to the time and leaving a few minutes for them to ask us questions. If ever I run out of time on a scheduled screening, I'll say, like, let's schedule more time. I'm sure that you have some questions for me. I'm so sorry that we ran over, stuff like that. Just showing them that you also care about their time and effort and want to give them the opportunity to get to know you is super important. And that's really easy. That's really easy, taking 10 more minutes to answer some questions for somebody. And so that's really important to me. And I always try to reflect that to the hiring managers, make sure that you leave time for questions and then have the interview be conversational. It's a two-way street, right? Don't make it feel like it's this rapid fire interrogation. There's always opportunity for people to insert their opinion or their thoughts too into a conversation if you set the tone from the beginning. So I think that's really, really important. Just the way that you start the conversation is so essential.
Totally. I think it's often misunderstood that all the power lies with the employer in the
Yeah.
experience, right? It's like they're the ones making the decision. The reality is the candidate's making a decision too. So I think the earlier you can make an authentic connection to your point and level set with the candidate that, hey, I want this to be a mutual fit if we get
Right.
to the end of the line here. And so power is with both of us. And so I want to give you the information that you need in order to make the best decision for you, and vice versa. That's why we're asking questions and going through the interview process so we get the information to make a good decision for us. And
Right.
if at the end of this process there's good alignment and we've all asked the questions we need to ask, that probably bodes well for that person being with the company for a long period of time.